Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Boost to Hit podcast. I'm going to be your host tonight. This is Chris Taylor Wolf, also Hashmal in the Discord.
Going on, everyone? Sam here, or also known as Vulgaris.
And unfortunately, Tony could not join us this evening as we are talking about the Old Umbrey rules leaks that Steamforge has been putting out for the past week. By the time you're all listening to this, everything that Steamforge has put out is out. We've gotten a little bit of advance notice to take a look at these. We've had a chance over the past week to just think through them and look at them, and we've got initial impressions of the rules. We're going to go through the warlocks, the war beasts, the character unit, the solos, and just our overall impressions of the army. And then we're going to end with our favorite reveal and why that's our favorite. I don't know about you, Sam, but I'm pretty excited for Old Umbrey. I mean, I'm excited enough that I kind of been investing in a little side winter core force just to have a few models in case that wild urge to play a bunch of dark forest war beasts and savages of the land strikes me.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. As you already know, I've been playing Circle since the January update, and then I purchased the exclusive Bodan from the Adepticon, and then I did hop on Yana. Those obviously are all Umbre. I didn't get the Cadre or anyone else, but who knows? I might end up getting them in the future, but I'm more interested in the Umbre side of things.
I get you. And we're hearing some interesting things. SFG developers did an Ask Me Anything in another Discord about a week ago, and they suggested that the the way that Focus and Fury was going to work in Old Umbrey for the cadre casters was that Tatiana and Vilcol will be available in Old Umbrey, but they won't be available as warlocks. They're not getting that changeover, and they're not going to be available as army leaders. They're instead going to kind of be like Carver 2 and Magnus 4, a module where you take them and a warjack, and then the units and the solos will be available as they are normally for cadre options. I think that's pretty cool. Obviously, a lot's going to change. I mean, I think a Warcaster variant of Vilcool in every list is probably going to scare everybody off of playing anything but Old Umbrey. But I think that's a really neat way of at least addressing this. It's something we haven't seen in the game before. So I'm excited to see when they ultimately reveal that, what it's going to look like.
I agree. It's a very interesting take on keeping the rules a little late. I guess I don't know what the right word is, but however, it is pretty interesting. But I'm hoping they're not good enough where I have to purchase them. I just want to play Umbre.
I hear you. I hear you. I think that I have faith. I've seen a lot of cool things coming out of balances right before we get into these rules. Like I'll give the overall hype and excitement. These rules are exciting. There's some power here. There's some very cool things that this new army is going to be able to do. I can't wait to see them on the table. From a rule standpoint, they're going to be very fun to play against. It's
Hmm.
going to be a very dynamic game, and from an aesthetic standpoint, oh my god, they look amazing.
Yes, they are gorgeous. I'm having a hard time deciding what is my actual favorite model so far.
Well, it's good. Got an entire podcast to figure that out. So let's start off. Just jumping in. We're not going to go through the rules like line by line. They're available on Steamforge's channels. They're going to be in the app uploaded very soon. If when this comes out, if they're not already there, so you can take a look at them for yourself. We're just going to hit the high level points of what each one of them does, and then what we think about them. So, starting off pretty with the first warlock that was revealed, we're gonna go with Capitan Galena Lycia, the Winter Fox. So, Galena has been described. I've seen a couple of different people describe her as everything or everything including Lilith 2. I've described her as Grim Angus 1. I've heard, Sloan but better. I kind of disagree with that one, but I've heard it. And then I've also heard Kaya with a gun. So for every Circle fan that laments the lack of a Kaya in the current Prime Circle army as well, Kaya with a gun.
And I think I've referred to her myself as K-Bay, as my new Kalissa Bay, but that's neither here
Well,
nor there.
You know what? She's pretty cool. So here's what we got right here. We got a rather fast moving, accurate sniper. And just, before I get into the rules, she has a little fox, a little Arctic fox on her base. If that is a separate piece, if that's not connected to the model, I'm getting like 40 of these things. I love
W
that little thing. I want it on everything.
Wait, I thought the fox was the caster.
Oh, that's right. The fox is the caster, and then it has a human companion that wields the gun. Got it.
That's
Yeah.
right, that's right.
How could just like Yana's the bear with a rider on her.
That sounds
Obviously, get that
correct to me.
get that backwards, silly me.
Mhm,
um, so we got some cool rules as you can expect. High defense, lower arm, Pathfinder. Interestingly, she's unstoppable. So
mhm.
locking her up is not going to be super easy. Um, for special rules, we've got good ones. Dodge, headshot, we love it from Kane 4, isn't it great? Pray, like that one, and then resourceful, which that's a pretty big rule for, as we're going to get into it, someone who
Yes.
really wants to run a battle group.
Yes, I'm loving it. But I also noticed a lack of dual attack, which obviously she shouldn't have it with a range 14 gun. But, that's the first thing I noticed because I feel like a lot of casters nowadays have that advantage.
I agree. Like almost every one of them has it. And so it's funny that you mentioned the lack of dual attack because you'd be thinking, well, why would a sniper want to get into melee? So I counter with, why does a sniper have a range 2 PAL 13 melee weapon? It's good. Like she actually has a fairly decent melee weapon for somebody who's gonna be sitting back and shooting pretty much the whole game. And she's gonna be
Hmm.
shooting because she has a range 14 rate of fire 2 gun. It's only PAL 12, not a weapon master. Sorry, not actually Sloan, but she has bait the line. And bait the line is a big rule. Um,
Yes.
for everyone that's not familiar with Grim Angus, this might be the only. I'm probably wrong, but he might be the only place I've really seen this rule. When uh, when a model is damaged by a weapon with bait the line, War Beast in that model's battle group gain +2 speed when charging. So it's a wonderful paint the target setup shot to send War Beast just screaming down the field. And with Prey, she can actually stick the damage. Remember, it's not a POW 12, it's a POW 14 against the thing she actually cares about.
That is a big deal.
So I'll cover the feat, and then Sam, why don't you dig in a little bit to the spells? What we got there. So the feat is +2 defense to friendly faction models in control. Repo straightforward. We haven't seen the rest of the army, so it's a little hard to know how that defense swing is really going to impact things. But Repo 5 is a really great rule. So I could see this getting some use, like being useful for the army.
Yes. And on top of that, she is on her spell cards, she has pincushion. So that's already a big plus on that damage swing, right? Because she drops the lowest die from an additional die. She has refuge, so she's what speed 6, range 14, and then she's gonna make a full advance backwards after she shot you, so you can't counteract on that one. And then she has Shadow Pack, so that's gonna help that battle group. It's situational, but that stealth does come in handy every once in a while.
Hey, when it matters, it matters. Sometimes when you have 7 war beasts in your army and all of them are stealth, poses challenges to somebody who has one instance of guidance going, cool, what do I shoot at? There are 7 of them.
Yep.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Pick 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 your poison.
And even better, she speeds 7. That refuge move is big.
Oh my gosh.
She
Imagine that on feat
is.
turn with the Repo 5.
Yeah.
So she's full advance and then Repo 5. That's disgusting.
And the cool thing is, unlike Sloan, who I always had this problem with, Sloan had this wonderful tendency to like donk that refuge shot and then just not move and sit there and be in like a lot of trouble. Well, Lycia has get out of jail free card, and that's a whoopsie time to pop feet moment. I can't refuge, but more than that, because of her feet, she can put refuge uh on anyone else. And with resourceful, she could put it on a battle group model. So that battle group model could get that move too. It's really neat. This isn't something that I've really seen before in an actual sniper caster. I think she's going to be all over the place, like moving all over the board and able to hit a bunch of
Um,
angles and just send things into your face.
Refuge is huge, and I guess we'll get to that once we start talking about the battle group.
Oh yeah. So let's before we get to Battle Group, because they're up after our next one, and this
Mhm.
one's so this is the rules for our pre-release model or our preview model. Everyone remembering about Christmas Eve last year, we saw our first glimpse of um, Old Umbrey Santa Claus, who turns out is Bodan Lesnoy, Apostle of the Witch. He was previewed this week, and he was our Adepticon model. That was the model that was previewed at Christmas. Both Sam and I have one. Amazing, love that model. And the funniest thing is, when I saw his spoiled model at the Adepticon preview, all I thought was, I was like, well, I got the special edition one, but I don't feel like it's that special. His base model is amazing. So
Yeah,
good
it looks
God.
really good. It's like, which one do you wanna actually paint?
Like, they're both excellent. So
That's a good
he's one
problem to have.
I'm happy with that problem. So flipping the script now, Sam, why don't you take us through the stats and the weapons and the feat, and I'll take care of the spells.
Okay, so looking at Bodon's card, he's got Pathfinder, and notably, he has dual attack. So, why is this relevant? Well, first, let's go through the stats here. He's speed 6, arcane attack 7, mat 6, rat 6, defense 14, arm 14. His arc is 8, and his control 16. Those are all really good stats. But on top of that, he's
I don't
got
know if I
Bird's Eye.
call I don't know what I call 14.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. That's a little below average, but everything else is pretty good. But he's got Bird's Eye, which is a big deal. And then on top of that, which is funny, I saw someone else in another Discord mention this about Shifter, that maybe it's really Lord of the Feast going, hey, I no longer want to be this guy, but now I want to be a full on caster. And this is actually him disguised as Bodan Lesnoy. But that's pretty cool. That was just funny to think about. So on top of that, he's got two melee attacks. He's got the Jeweled Biba, which is a range 1, and then he has a Cursed Staff, which has this spell, and it's a range 2. His He is pretty good, and that's even before we get to his feet and his spells. Is there anything you want to add on to that, Chris?
Uh, yeah, he's my favorite kind of old man caster. I played Sevi too for years, just years. One of my favorite war casters in the entire game. And there's like, so I know the pitfalls of a 14-14. Hey, he's a warlock, so he's already better off than Sevi, who just had to rely on focus, and that wasn't very good. But he just had this wonderful tendency when the lines closed to just pop up Creator's Wrath and then just go absolutely ham on some idiot who got too close to him. And it was a wonderful get off my lawn Clint Eastwood moment. And Lesnoy's got that energy all over him. Because you look at his weapons, you're like, POW 10, POW 9, this sucks. Well, that POW 10 of his has Life Trader, so he's actually a weapon master. And with Shifter, he just zips right into your face and says, hi there, how are you? So you can't be too careful around him. He can actually end a game.
Yes. Yes, he can. And my God, this guy is crazy. You want to read that feat?
Sure. So his feat is it's a book. It only gives you two things. In his control range, friendly faction warrior models gain last word, and then he gains grim salvation. What the hell are those rules? That's where the book comes in. So last word, everything in everything in his army, when warrior models, I should say, when they're disabled by an enemy attack, they can advance 3 inches and make a basic melee attack. That's going to get super interesting with the shapeshifter rules that we haven't seen yet, because I have a strong suspicion that you're going to have werewolves and werebears popping out of models that
Yes.
were disabled.
Yes, that is amazing.
So you got a move, a free bonk, and then poof, a werewolf. And he even juices this a little bit because Grim Salvation, I can't remember if this rule is in the game currently. It's a version of Sack Pawn. Um, if you're hit by it directly hit by a basic attack made by an enemy model, you choose a friendly non-incorporeal warrior model within 3 inches of him to be directly hit instead. So he gets it, and then he can shunt the attack off to warrior models within 3 inches of him. This has a lot of cool benefits. One of the souls we're going to get into a little later on definitely triggers off, like, or definitely is a great target to just shunt a bunch of attacks into. But it gives him a bit more durability to get up the field and kind of spread his arms, wings, not sure, and really kind of have a presence and be somewhat durable. And we're going to get to why that matters here in a second.
Well, what makes this really strong too, right, is that it's any attack, right? Because it's a basic attack. So does
Was
it
pointed out
benefit
to me,
from a
it's
ranged?
not any attack. It is specifically basic attack. So you do have to watch out for power attacks,
Okay.
special action, and spells. He can't
So
skip
yes.
those.
Oh, that's right. Spells don't count as a basic attack.
Yes, they do not. So you have to be a bit careful. You're running. I play Infernals. Agathon's one of my main jams. Lesnoy into Agathon. Lesnoy better be a little scared of that feat turn. Maybe camp up a
Okay,
bit.
you just made me think about that. Like, okay, that's pretty scary.
But again, hey, this is the beauty of a two list system with rack. You can you can adjust for that. You get to see what your opponent is fronting, and maybe you don't take Lesnoy when they're fronting a strong spell assassin. I can't say that they're aside from a couple of odd little lists, they're not super in the meta right now.
Yeah,
So
well, the only
you see Nickane
ones that I
pop
can
up, you
think
see
of
Agathon pop up.
and, Shadow Tongue. Those are the only ones that I can
Oh
really
yeah.
think of.
Okay, yeah, Shadow Tongue. Oof. I yeah, no thanks. Ugh. Hate Shadow Tongue. You know I hate Shadow Tongue. All right, I'm jumping in the spell list because this is dumb.
Yes.
So I should have said with Felicia that she has rack slots too, as does Lesnoy. So the first two revealed warlocks have two rack slots. Just
Not
kind of
bad,
skipped
not
over.
bad.
It's pretty good. It's hey, better than one. Sorry, Butcher Five. Sucks to be you. Um, his spells are bangers. We've got Befuddle. Yay.
Mm,
One of the best spells in the game.
yes, I'm here for it.
Oh boy. And with an arcane attack 8, with a control of 16, and some spice with the battle group. Yeah, this is gonna be nuts. I'm Befuddle is scary. We've also
Getting
got
hyped,
what's that say?
getting hyped just thinking about it.
Oh yeah. And we also got Incite. Now, this Incite is always one of those wonderful spells that you're going to cast like once a game, and almost every caster that has it has the ability to get it off for free or to keep themselves super safe. Lesnoy's no exception. I wouldn't say that he's as safe as Veil 1's Cat and Mouse or the fact that Fiora 3 just, cast it because, sorry, Fiora 1 has it now, but she can't free cast it, and oof, it's rough because of that because it's a 4 cost spell, and everything within 10 inches of you, every enemy takes more. Your friendly models gain +2 to attack and damage rolls against them. That's a excellent spell, but
Yeah.
you gotta be careful because you can definitely get yourself killed. And then our last spell is Murder of Crows. If you played Old Witch, you're familiar with this spell. It's a cloud effect that enemies entering it or ending suffer an unboostable POW 8 damage roll. The damage roll isn't super, important, but it is just a cloud spell that he could just plop down. It is an upkeep, so only one at a time. But it's a nice little bit of control on the board, blocking line of sight, and maybe you got some Mage Hunter Assassins screaming in at you. Maybe they don't want to go through the birds.
And just out of curiosity, how would you rate that spell because it's a cloud? I feel like nowadays clouds seem to be a little easier to get around.
I mean, clouds definitely have their counter. So with the January 2025 update, pretty much everyone got an answer to stealth and to clouds. Guidance or guidance adjacent effects are in every army. That's Legacy and Prime included. Or I'm sorry, Legacy Mark IV, but all the Prime armies got this.
Yes.
It's largely good for the game. I think the main driver behind that was that Gravediggers was about to hit. They've mostly hit now, and they front a not screwing around cloud wall. They very realistically can protect a 70, 80 points worth of material as it trundles up the board.
Oh,
And
I
if you
felt it.
don't have an answer to clouds, that is very bad. We're talking shades of Mark II, Mark III levels of skew into how bad it can be for your army. So now you can bring these tools. They removed it as a command card in 2025, but everyone kind of has this as an army option. So if you are anticipating facing clouds, you at least have some tech. That said, it is still somewhat limited. Most armies only have access to, one source of guidance or one source of stealth or cloud denial. Some armies, Infernals, cheat and get ubiquitous access to that. Shadow Flame Shard, Chimera
Yes. Yes.
obviously has it as well. You know, they have Isla Sight on a stick with the
Yes.
3-man unit. And it's still 3 models, but it's an important
I
3
think
models.
I think maybe that's why I feel it so strongly is because of our meta. You know, we have Black 13th, we've got the Rowdies who ignore the clouds,
Mhm.
and you have Shadow Flame Shard. So that's
Oh,
why I
yeah.
was just curious what you thought about it because it just seems to be everywhere.
Again, it's Shadow Pack, you know? You don't cast it every game, but when you do, and when
Mhm.
it matters, you do. Uh,
Yes.
I was playing Boris yesterday in the Gravediggers, and Boris has a cloud spell on his spell list, and I put it down. And guess what? Protected Torch for a turn. So effective. I was very happy with it. When it matters, it matters. All right,
Okay.
let's dig into the War Beasts. We got two that have been released. These are the two that Old Umbrey is getting in pure Kador style. You ain't getting a light. You are getting a heavy and a slight and a bigger heavy. So that's what you get. Um, Our two heavies are the Primeval and the Feral. So let's dig into the Feral first, because
Okay.
I like this guy.
I really like this model, and I love its rules.
It is a beautiful model. I love the fact that I've now seen, I think, 3 or 4 different pictures of this. And what's
Yeah.
so surprising is I have no idea where the join parts are for the heads or the backs, and it looks like a different model every time I see it.
That's how good they did on it. That's yes, it's engineering
It's the
marvel.
same pose, but it looks totally different. I'm like, this is so cool. Mm. So what we got here is a war beast that you can take in a point range between 7 and 10. It's a pretty narrow point range. Your Feral's going to be your utility beast. It's got a good defensive profile at 13, 16. It's not, you know, that's not setting the world on fire. It's a bit fragile, but it's not, for something so cheap, it's not too bad. And
Yep.
28 hit points or 28 wounds is a big deal. This guy can take enough damage. I mean, I play Soul Stalkers at 13, 17s with 22, and they still sometimes last longer than you think. So this guy at half their cost almost, yeah, I'm pretty happy with him. Sam, why don't you cover the other stats?
All right. So let's just go straight through it, right? Obviously,
Hmm.
look, he's got Pathfinder. Who doesn't like Pathfinder? He's got dual attack. And one of the things that I think that really specializes on this feral here is Vault. To me, that's a big deal. That's probably one of my favorite rules that I've come in contact with recently.
It's a
So
great rule.
going on from there, he's got two claws, POW 11, not bad, right? But then let's start going with the options here. So for his
Yeah.
first head, he's got guard dog. It's the head is called, if I'm going to pronounce this correctly, it's called Aoki. So guard dog is pretty good rule. As a retribution player, I love this rule. While this model is within 3 inches of its leader, it is not knocked down or stationary. The leader gains +2 defense against melee attack rolls and cannot become knocked down. To me, that is a big deal. I don't know how many times I've been knocked down and killed afterward. So maybe this will keep me from being assassinated. I don't know. But the this is the beak here, and it's a range one, POW 14. But I think we're really here for the guard dog.
Yep.
The next head option here is the Drek, and this is a spray 10, POW 12, and it has stun. Do you want to remind the audience what stun does?
Okay, I had to go dumpster. Well, I don't want to say dumpster diving. That's not fair to Retribution, but I had to dig for this rule because
Which
there's
is
like
sad because I play Ret and I couldn't even tell you what it was. And I'm like, I recognize it, but I don't remember from where.
there are, I think, 2 models in the game, both characters that have this rule, and Discordia is one of them in
Mhm.
Retribution. It is a legacy model, so that's the reason
Right.
you're not
It's not
remembering
in
it is
Prime,
you haven't played Discordia in probably, what, 4 years, if
maybe.
ever? And it
End
was
of Mark
also
III.
it was Ron's character, Jack, and wasn't particularly great, so
Correct.
she never saw too much play. So stun it's a simple rule. It's just models hit suffer -2 defense. Again, you're gonna look at that and go, so what? But as we saw with Lycia, setup is cool. Setup is
Uh,
very cool.
I kinda like the utility hit fixing type thing, but maybe it's because I
Mhm.
come from Retribution where everything is just mat 6 even though we're playing premium, and our hit fixing comes from silly things such as a critical on the Thunderbolt to get a knockdown or a
Yeah.
momentum gun. So, the fact that I can get a -2 on a spray 10 and speed
Yeah.
6, to me, that's kind of a big deal.
Speed 6, Vault, boostable hit. So you can
Yes.
really stick this places that might be uncomfortable for people.
Which you will need to boost because it's only a Rat 5.
Yeah, the rat's not super impressive, but having a boostable hit fixing gun, and the other thing to point out here is that these heads are only 5 and 6 points. They're all kind of the same point cost. So
Mhm.
what Steamforged has done with the war beasts in this army is their point range is very narrow, but all of the stuff has utility that you may want to take. So this isn't a case of I play Sea Raiders where it's like, hey, here's my melee weapon, and then here's my better melee weapon for more points. Neat.
Yeah.
It's not very exciting.
I'm a
These all do
huge
different things, but it gives you tech. Each one of them gives you options that you wouldn't have with the others.
and that's the key word, options, and I love it. I've come to realize that I just like having tools.
Yeah.
So moving on from there, we're gonna go to the head options here. So the first head option is the Periton, and this grants you Blood Quenched.
Mhm.
For Blood Quenched, for those of you that may not know, this model gains a cumulative +1 arm and +1 to its melee damage rolls for each model it destroys with a melee attack during its activation. It lasts for 1 round, but there's no cap.
Nope.
So this is going to have a range 2, power 14,
Mhm.
and
I
it's only
love it.
6 points.
Yep.
From there, we've got the head, the Razorback, and this grants Berserk. And who doesn't like
Mhm.
Berserk?
Mhm. Mhm.
And for those of you that may not know, Berserk, when this model destroys one or more models with a melee attack during its combat action, immediately after the attack is resolved, it must make one additional attack against another model in its melee range, regardless, keyword there, of whether that model is a friendly model or enemy model. And I think you went through this over the weekend yesterday playing against Brian.
May have massacred a couple of my own guys with a Berserk Jackal, and I'm not gonna lie. This is a POW 15 range one. I'm not gonna lie. The idea of a Berserk War Beast is, mm, we're gonna get to that. Oh, it's good. I like it.
So moving on from there, we've got the
Mhm,
back. The first option here is the bony spine, which grants it unstoppable, is
mhm.
only 3 points, and primal. You can't go wrong with primal.
All the
This
circle
right
fans
here,
rejoice.
this right here, it tells you alone. This is for my circle, brethren. This is our circle. So I don't think we're getting circle, guys. This is our circle. Primal right here, +2 mat, +2 to melee. However, the downside is it automatically frenzies during your next control phase. So you're sending that thing out to die. You better make sure you get your points back.
Yep.
And then the next back option, um, I'm not really too high on this rule. It's hyper aggressive. To
Hyper
me,
aggressive
it feels like
sucks.
a trap card.
It
However,
it is kind of. I don't disagree. I play two factions with hyper aggressive on my heavies, and I can tell you right now, I do not like that rule very much. I'm not high on it. 1 in 10 games it is something relevant. You can do cute things, but you're right. It's normally I've just got a shot at the end of the turn. Let me shoot the thing with hyper aggressive. Oh god, it's closer. Don't do that
yeah.
maybe, and it's not a great rule.
Luckily, it's cheap. It's two
Yeah.
points.
Hmm.
However, I will say that the spell that the animus that he grants is pretty decent. It's a massacre. The spellcaster gains overtake. I don't know how many times I've been playing in circle and I was just like, I really wish I had overtake on these models when they had berserk or some sort.
Hmm.
So, um, that's pretty good for 2 points.
You hit on my happy combo, Berserk Overtake. I was playing Sabreth Jackals yesterday. I love I love that combo.
Mm. So, moving on
Hmm.
onto the back, we have the quills, which is a point cost of 3. And this is one spell that I kind of wish was somewhere else, and that's Spiny Growth. +2 arm is pretty good. And then when they get attacked by a non-warrior model, meaning some kind of a cohort model, they're going to take D3 damage points, which, it does help. That might knock out a system or
Yep.
might not knock out an aspect. But not only does it do that, it gives an additional armor to the feral. So he'd
Yeah.
be getting additionally a +3. So what did he start off with?
Thirteen,
He's a arm
16.
16, right? And then if
Yep.
you have this, you can essentially go up to an arm 19. That's not nothing. That's pretty decent,
That's a
especially with 28
real heavy
boxes.
stat. When you're 13, 19, that's you're better than a malefactor at that point. You are better than a well, Valiant from Gravedigger's Boy. Brain fart there. So yeah, 28 hit points is right on the line with that malefactor and just under the Valiant. So it's pretty good.
And then last but not least, maybe some people will really love this one, the wings. It's a 4-point cost. However, it grants two advantages. The first is you become flying, obviously, which is awesome. But on top of that, you gain the Animus Rush. And Rush
Yeah.
gives the Warbist +2 speed and Pathfinder. The
Hmm.
beauty of this one is that it lasts for a turn. It only costs 2 and it's range 6. So you're getting places that your opponent does not want you to be. And there's
Yeah.
nothing they could do about it.
Yeah, I mean that for years this was a faction defining animus for Scorn. So Primal and Rush in the same army, be still my heart. This is one heck of a good support piece. That has the ability to get some work done itself too.
I'm willing to throw 40 points onto my list to have 4 of these guys on the table. Like,
Oh
what
yeah,
about you?
okay. I'm looking at them. I'm like, so four of them is reasonable. I can take three berserk overtake idiots for 24 points. That's I can't do math, but 28 times three, good number of boxes there.
They are they're really
24.
good. They're really good.
They're really good.
I'm in love with them.
I'm excited. Let's move on to the primeval.
This is your
Quick here.
baby, isn't it?
Uh,
I
you
think
know,
you were really into this guy. So let's
I
go ahead. You have this one. This is all you, baby.
Okay, well, thank you. The prime. So I've been referencing the movie The Ritual a couple of times. If people haven't seen that one, I can't say that I like super recommend it. It's strictly okay. But one of the things that it absolutely nails is this really dark Scandinavian type of creature horror.
Oh
And the
yeah, I'm looking at
primeval,
pictures.
yeah, and the primeval reminds me. It's like right out of that movie, and so that aesthetic is so cool. And the primeval is just that. So what we got here is again a war beast with another heavy with a narrow point range. He's minimum 13, maximum 16, depending on how you outfit him. So we're not doing these 10 to 19 point ranges. I really like these for both the feral and the primeval because when you're building a list, it's real easy to think of how your battle group is going to fit in it. You know what the range is for the war beast that you're going to be taking roughly within a couple of points. It's a lot easier to like a 9 point swing is a heck of a lot harder to just cognate than a 3 point swing. Um,
Mhm.
and this is a really good beast. Like everything in this army, I'm pretty sure he's a pathfinder. He's got 30 boxes. He's speed 6. He's an arcane attack 6. That matters. We'll get to that. Mat 7, rat 6. He's a depth 13, arm 18, fury Thor, threshold 10, dual attack. He's
Oh my
he's
god.
good. Yeah, threshold 10
Threshold
is a
10.
big number. You don't typically see that outside of characters.
Yeah, because I
So
think thinking back, the only one I can think of was Loki that had
yeah,
threshold 10.
you don't see it often. It's really rare. So the fact that they just get that baseline is interesting. It definitely kind of means that maybe you might run these guys a little bit hotter. We in these leaks and the primeval specifically, we do see some fury management, but right now there ain't a whole lot in the army. So that
What are you
could be
talking
by
about? Way up
design.
primal.
Yeah, you get well. There's that too. Fury management is my beast goes to die. Vaya con Dios. All right, so his special rules are just freaking wild. Body
Oh,
Snatcher Trophy Hunter. This is not a rule that we've seen in the game yet. We've seen
this
Body Snatcher plenty of times. It's the ability to gain corpse tokens. He can do that. He can have up to 5 of them. The Trophy Hunter thing. So what the hell can he do with corpse tokens? Absolutely nothing. He can't spend them. He holds them, and that's the weirdest
Mhm.
thing. Like, but he gets benefits for holding corpses.
No,
Can hold up to
they're
10.
trophies.
I know. He's so greedy. I love it. So if he has one or more corpse tokens, he can run or charge without being forced. Great rule. I straight up like, cool, that's awesome. I mean, you can lucky penny one immediately runs or charges for free.
Yes.
Love it.
That's a big deal, especially when he's already, what, Fury
Fury
4?
4. Yeah. Fury 4 with good attack stats. We get 3 or more corpse tokens on him. All of his weapons, that's ranged and melee, gain grievous wounds. Awesome. A Grievous is a wonderful rule. And I get this feeling, I know that one of the souls we're going to talk about can help out with this, but I get this feeling that Old Umbrey is going to traffic in corpses. They're going to have an actual corpse economy. And we're getting into these kind of like niche rules that I have not really seen explored a whole lot. And I think Old Umbrey is actually going to explore like the corpse mechanic a little bit more intricately than other armies do. Like
Yes.
typically like with Necrofactorium, you get corpses off of dead dudes, you revive dead dudes into undead dudes. That's it. Like that's the corpse economy. It doesn't do anything else. You can't really generate them, you can't bounce them around. Well, you can in Old Umbrey, and you have a really good spot to bounce them to in this guy. So that's 3 or more is Grievous. 5 or more? Well, it says 5 or more, but he can only hold 5. Just the editing error. When this model has at least 5 corpse tokens, he gains +2 on damage rolls. Period.
Mhm.
Damage rolls. That is melee, ranged, and spell. Spell
Yes.
matters. So I think this is a cool rule. I think that this is when I saw this come out, I'm like, this is flippin' neat. And he also has Sacred Ward.
Oh
He
my
can't be
god.
targeted by spells,
That
enemy
is
spells
so good.
specifically. Played Protectorate for 2 editions. Sacred Ward is an excellent rule. So good. All right, so let's get into his options. He pays for that Trophy Hunter special rule. He only has 3 options in the head and then the arms. This is less than any other heavy we've seen to date. Everyone else has 4, and often sometimes more than just the head or the arm slots. He's just got
I
head
had
and
not
arm.
known that.
Yep. He has a grand total of, I think it's 27 distinct combinations you can outfit him in, and that's it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's much less than the others, but I've seen in a lot of Mark IV modern armies, we don't use a lot of those options very much. There's half of the tyrant options in Sea Raiders I don't even consider. Um,
Gotcha.
so in the Primevals, they're all good. They just all do different
Yes.
things.
Again, utility. It's
Yeah.
just they're great. Great tools.
So for the head options, we have Bear, 3 cost, Bite with it's a range 1 POW 12, and Earth's Blessing as the Animus. Importantly, Bite is magical. I should say almost
Yes.
everything in this army has a magic weapon of some sort. Like all of the beasts do, it or can get them very easily. Magic weapon access going to be really easy here.
And I wanna
All of
say
the
that
primeval
as
weapons are magical.
and just to interrupt there, to
Yo,
me,
yeah,
that is a huge deal because when I'm playing Circle, there are times when I'm looking at my list and I go, I don't want to play into Necrofactorium because I don't have the volume of attacks that are magical to get rid of those key important models.
yeah.
So this is a huge deal to me.
hmm
It's got me hyped.
Yeah. So with the bear head, we've got a range 1 pow 12 bite. Earth's blessing is you can't be pushed, knocked down, made stationary, moved by a slam. Great defensive rule. Animus when it matters. You're not going to use it all the time, but it's 3 points. Pretty cheap. And then the second of the 3 heads we have is Raven. Grants True Sight. Good rule. Ignoring clouds and stealth. Amazing.
Yep.
Animus is Spirit Blade. I don't know if this one's existed outside of this faction. It probably has. This one
Uh,
I couldn't find it easily, but it's a 2 cost Animus. Enemy upkeeps and animi on target friendly faction model or unit expire. You're not going to use this all that often, and 2 is kind of expensive for an upkeep expiration, but when it matters, it matters. Think spells like Pursuit still exist.
mhm.
Um, spell offensive, or I should say, setup uses of Crippling Grasp, Parasite, Curse of Shadows, where you stick it on a big model, but you don't necessarily attack it just yet. Yeah, there's still that happens, and this gives you at least an answer to that. Um, but you're not going to use it all the time. And again, it's only 3 points. It's not a very expensive head. It's as much as the bear. You don't get the initial additional attack, but you do gain True Sight. That might be useful for something else.
Oh my
The
gosh.
final head we have is the Stag, which is the splash art, the thumbnail art for this model. And I got to say that Steamforged may want to go out into the woods because that's not quite what a stag looks like.
Yeah, it's the wrong nomenclature.
Like, I mean, I get where you're going, but that's a ram, guys. That is not a stag. Their horns are pretty different. Uh, However, the stag head, as funny as it might look, is awesome. It is 4 costs, so it's our most expensive head, but it grants you Serenity. You can remove a Fury point from a friendly faction war beast within 1 inch of this model. Amazing. The fact that it's on a war beast is already like, so I just get to run them a little hotter than normal. Neat.
Yes, it's
Uh,
not on a gallows grove.
Nope. And it gives him that bear melee attack. It's a gore, it's range 1, POW 12 magical, and then Undergrowth is the Animus. If anybody's ever been bad touched by Megalith in editions past, yeah, that's back. Enjoy. You're going to have a great time. That's a cost 2, while within 5 inches of spellcaster. Enemy models treat open terrain as rough terrain and suffer -2 defense. The -2 defense is the setup right there. If you really just. So we now have a stun spray and Undergrowth on 2 different beasts. Oh boy.
Yes.
This army is coming packed with answers to defense skews. I hear those are good right now. People use them.
Yeah. No comment.
That's the I have been bad touched by Zadaroth and Kythos comment.
Mm, it's more like poor Thyron comment.
Poor Thyron has definitely caught, and so many people are attacking for the defense skew right now, and Thyron's just he's catching all that flack, and he did not deserve it. Boy, did nothing wrong. Okay, so we're gonna get into the arm options here. So for our right arm, gonna lay this out right now. All of the right arm options, all 3 of them, they're all range 2. This is not gonna be a range 1 war beast, which I think is interesting. So, again, a very clear design that they have for the battle group that you're going to be taking with Old Umbrey. You know your options. You have a lot of options, but there is still a very clear central. Your primeval is going to be a melee too. It threatens this far always.
Yes.
Your opponent's not going to have to think too much about. Well, is it range 1? Is it range 2? What does it look like? Nope, it's range 2. Everything.
Nope. That's base 11 threat right there.
Mhm. So for the first one, we got Ancient Staff. I love this. Geomancy, so the War Beast can be forced to cast a spell, cost 3 or less. Oh boy, Geomancy Befuddle. There it is, everyone. Enjoy. I've
Yeah.
I I've already talked to a few people that are very scared of that.
Very worried about that. I think I
It is
saw.
it's a bad touch moment.
Yeah. It's gonna be something.
I will wait and see. I think that it's very good. It is a point cost 6 staff. That's about, again, in line with what these things cost. I will point out that the Ancient Staff, though, is a range 2, as I said, POW 13. Um, so
You're
Brenos
paying for
has
it.
a better staff. The old goat in Circle hits harder than this thing.
Oh, I'm
Like a
looking
lot
right at
harder.
him.
Yeah, he's got a POW 16. This Ancient Staff, apparently the tree is broke. It's a POW 13. Ain't great. So we're obviously taking this for the utility of geomancy. We are not, and a backup maybe. There is ability to hit harder with primal and insight. Sure, I could get him up to a POW 17, but we're really reaching here. Um, so the second weapon we got is the opposite end of that spectrum. Point cost 7 Bone Sword. Bone Sword, love it. This is your beater. It's a POW 18 magical with crit amputation. Neat. Just straight up, hey, here's a sword. I'm going to hit you hard with it. And remember, get 5 corpses on him. That's a POW 20. Neat.
Woo!
Baseline POW. Now, 5 corpses is going to be a fair bit. Our final option, I typically don't like this type of option, but it's here. And I actually kind of do like it on the Primeval because of that trophy hunter
Yes.
rule. And the other damage fixing in the faction is the hunting
Yes.
spear. So this
I'm
point cost
in
7.
love.
Okay, you're going in the hunting spear here. You love this more than me.
At least one.
Okay, all right. No, no, give us the rules on the hunting spear.
So on the hunting spear, it's a range 10 magical PAL 15. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the thing though. Like you said, you have the 5 trophies. It's going to go up to a PAL 17. That's a big deal, and it's boostable,
Hmm.
and it's magical, and it has a force reload of 1. So you're tossing at least 2 of these,
Hmm.
and it has critical smite.
Yeah.
That's utility right there.
On a Rat
I
6 platform too is really good.
Rat 6 is decent.
Yeah.
You know,
And
like if your scenario, I need you off this thing, I'm gonna go for that crit, and I hope that
mhm,
I push you off. You got 2 tries. That's not
yeah.
bad.
2 tries at a boosted crit is pretty okay, actually. And the cool thing is that we're also looking at a melee attack with the PAL
Yes.
15 too. That can be primal. Insight works as well. Your trophies. Suddenly, this is a PAL 21. Yeah, that took a lot of setup, but your ranged primeval is a PAL 21 in melee.
And it and if you look at it, it's still a range too.
Hmm. Sure is. Yeah, it's
So
really cool.
again, there's that base 11 threat plus
Love it.
brush plus bait the line plus whatever.
Big
So
fan.
you're getting smacked.
Oh yeah. Everything that we've seen thus far just shows that Old Umbrey is going to come at you fast and hard. They're going to hit, and they're going to hit good. Getting into the offhands real fast, and then we can move on to some of the other ones. We got the unit and the solos to cover as well. So
Yep.
for the left arms, we'll start with your point cost 4. This is your derp arm that you took because it's cheap. It's an open fist. It's magical. It's blessed. Neat. And it's a range 1 POW 16. That's it. It's just,
That's a
hey, it's a great offhand.
It's a
Like
big
that.
deal though. That blessed works a lot better than we
Oh
think.
yeah. Yeah, no, blessed is a good rule to have. It's on the offhand, which is a little not as fun, but I mean, on a if it was on like the bone sword or something like that, that thing would have to be like 9 or 10 points
Mhm,
because it's a big
mhm.
rule.
Yeah.
Um, we've got an enchanted shield at a point cost I don't hate for once. I think that a lot of shields on heavies are overpriced because they keep putting crappy guns on them that I never want to shoot.
Oh,
Or
like
that I
your
don't care
tyrant?
about shooting. Shut up. I hate my tyrant shield. So expensive.
But a
Um,
1320 with 30 boxes.
yeah, it's pretty good
Mm.
on this guy. So the shield gives you the shield advantage plus 2 arm. It can be ignored. And it's only a PAL 12 melee. Magical, neat, but the PAL 12 is not sexy. Interesting rule here, though. It has curse, it grants curse shapeshifter. So we haven't seen what the shapeshifters do just yet,
Oh,
nor how
man.
shapeshifting works. That's going to come later. Um, but curse is curse is a rule that's existed for some time. Played a bunch of Resnick 2. It's on him. Curse shapeshifter is you choose an enemy model or unit within 10 inches of this model, and then friendly shapeshifter models gain +2 to attack rolls against that chosen model or unit. So it's +2 to attack rolls. Importantly, you pick something that's within 10 inches of the model. You do not need line of sight. You do not need to roll to hit. You simply just pick it and you just go, that is cursed. Um, there's what is his name? Oh, Bane Lord Tartarus. Good old tartar sauce. Had it for Banes in Crix. He was the Bane, pun intended, of Mark II. Resnick 2 had it for his battle group. Runewood in Infernals has it for horrors. It's a great rule.
And I just wanna say once again, keyword here is utility, more tool
Mhm.
options, and
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
Speaking of tool options, let's get to the final arm because this one's a
Okay.
doozy. The Rune Skull. Uh, this has rules on it, my friend.
It has a
Uh,
lot of rules.
it has a lot of rules. The first one is Channeler, so the leader can channel spells through it at like an arc node. So we've got a Geomancy in one hand and a Channeler in the other. You're
Mm.
getting hit by spells. Like that's just happening.
Smushed.
Yeah, you're the primevals are gonna can be outfitted to just have magic shooting out of them. Maybe you don't take Channeler and Geomancy in the same beast. Probably not, but you can take Geomancy over here, Channeler over there, and feel pretty good about it. It's a point cost 4 as well, so it's pretty cheap. It was as cheap as primeval stuff kind of gets. Um, it has a special rule, Invoke the Beast. We have not seen this before because it specifically works with shapeshifter models that are unique to Old Umbrey. It picks a friendly marked model within 8 inches of it to be replaced with a shapeshifter model that has not yet been put into play. Replaced model is removed from play. So it summons, I love summoning, it summons a shapeshifter model off of
I
a
am
marked model.
excited.
We don't 100% know what marked models are yet, but if I had to guess, it probably works something like marked souls and infernals. It's just a quality that's going to be on your card. This is a marked model. In infernals, it's this model is a marked soul. Then you can summon off of marked souls. So I'm thinking it's going to be the same. And then finally, it does not have a melee, but it does have a gun. It's a range 8 POW 12. That's not as much fun, but it has beatback. Beatback is
Mhm.
a good rule to have. Going back to your pushing them off points with that
Yes.
hunting spear, well, beatback just lets you guarantee that you can do it as long as you can hit.
As long as you
So
don't need a crit, even better. And it's cheaper, I believe.
it's 4 points and it can go on the offhand. So you can get forward, you can beat back them once, and then crit smite them even further away. Just to make it rude.
That would be, a little
We call that
mean.
style in. We're gonna style on this guy. Just say, okay, 1 inch off the point. Now, good. 6 inches away. Get out of here. All right. So that covers our warlock and battle group options. Let's jump into the chosen of the witch, our character unit. Sam, you want to lead us through these guys?
Yes. So these ladies are the character unit that are coming in the character box. So to begin with, we're going to start with the Dawn. Let's see. She's got Pathfinder, Speed 7, Math 7, Defense 14, Arm 17. That's very respectable stats. On
Mhm.
top of that, she's got Divine Inspiration, Righteous Vengeance, and our favorite, Sacred Ward.
Love it.
And on top of that, I was looking at this earlier. The fact that her Dawn Spear, first off, is Mat 7, Range 2, Magical, PAL 15,
Mm,
and it has Blind. Are you
mm.
kidding me? For those
Divine
of you,
inspiration blind. Oh boy.
you're hitting unless you snake eyes all three, but that only happens to me. But
Yeah.
blind, for those of you that don't know, it's cannot make ranged or magic attacks, -4 mat, -4 defense, cannot run, charge, make slam, or trample attacks. It must forfeit either its normal movement or combat action. It can be shaken, but that is a really good rule.
I remember the dark days of Mark II with Gorman 1 blinding my Colossal, and before blind could be shaken. It is a great rule. Um, yeah, really happy to see it on these guys.
Let's be honest though, something that's -4 mat and -4 defense is probably gonna die if you're focusing it. All right, so
It is very good if something is out of control, for example. Warjack that just kind of yeeted a little too far. You can just blind the sucker and you don't have to worry about it for a turn.
let's be honest. I only make those kind of mistakes. All right.
It's not a mistake always.
All right, so let's move on to the second character part
Mhm.
of the unit. From there we have Zenith. She has similar stat lines: Speed 7, Mat 7, which I believe is just the base on a majority of them. So
Yeah, they
she
all
has
have.
Divine Inspiration, Righteous Vengeance, and Sacred Ward as well.
Mhm.
But on her weapon, she's only a range 1,
Yeah.
so she threats less. However, she has the flame burst advantage on her weapon. So
Mhm.
when they hit a model, an enemy model, actually when they box an enemy model, models within 1 inch will suffer the fire's continuous effect. That's not a bad rule.
It's not a bad
Y-
rule. Played Cinerators for a while. They had this rule. I think they lost it actually. Mark IV, which is like that's the reason they're called Cinerators was they set things on fire. But okay, um, and it doesn't come up like a ton. 1 inch isn't a super big range, but if you have some You got a shield wall unit that's nicely mashed together. It shows up.
Yeah, that PAL 12 is gonna hurt.
Hmm.
And then lastly, the Nightfall does have similar stats as well. However, she is different.
Yeah.
She has an additional rule. She has stealth,
Yep.
which I guess makes sense because she is the Nightfall, right? So
Hmm.
she has divine inspiration, righteous vengeance, sacred word, but her weapon is range 2 still, PAL 15 magical, but she has critical decap, which
Oh, that's a great
is
rule when it
pretty
shows
good.
up.
When it works, it works.
Hmm.
And when it don't, she's still hurting because she's PAL 15.
Yeah. And the other thing to cover on the first bit of the card is that these guys are all 10 wounds.
Oh, I missed that. I
Yeah.
definitely missed that for sure.
Yeah, they're 10 boxes each. That's a lot.
That that is pretty good. And they're and they're actually kind of cheap if you think about it for a character unit. They're only 9 points.
9 points for this is that their value. Like they are. I don't know that you take them in every list. It's a melee character unit. I'm happy to not see shield wall because that means that they can actually spread out from each other a little bit. They don't have to stay in a little clump. But I think if you take them, you're not going to be disappointed. As a melee unit, maybe they're not in every list, but when they show up, they're going to hit hard and be tough to remove.
Oh, that sounds like Galena would love to give them Repo 5.
They wouldn't hate it. That would spread them out quite a bit.
All right. From there, who are we going to move on to?
We've got 2 solos left to go with. Um, let's start with the Witchmark Totem because I'd like to end with
Oh my
Veroni.
gosh.
Witchmark Totem is good. This is your solo that you're gonna. This is kind of be your points filler solo. It's only a field allowance of 1. You can't really take this too many places. Like you can't take more than that. Point cost of 2, so it's cheap with 5 boxes, defense 15, arm 16. It is a construct on a 40 mil base with advanced deployment. If you play against Brian Bloods right now, you've seen the magic rocks. I can't remember what their stones are called, but you've seen them. It's kind of similar. Sam plays circle. Shifting stones are kind of similar. Gallows groves have a similar aesthetic. It's an immobile totem, deceptively immobile because it certainly moves. So
Oh
this
yeah.
little sucker, once per arcane manifestations a rule on his card once per turn. Anytime during activation, it gets to place anywhere completely within 10 inches of its current location. So,
I envy that rule.
yeah, strange growth is
5-inch
not great.
plays is Kagao, which is
It's
Spanish
not
for
great.
Dookie.
It is not great. No. Um, Neat rule that I've never seen before. Briar Thicket gives it
Mhm.
a little bit of defense against warrior models that are charging it. Enemy models without flight entering or ending activation within 2 inches of it suffer a POW 10 damage roll, and then warrior models damaged by the roll are knocked down. I think it gives it a little bit of protection. There are plenty of ways to remove it. A defense 5, arm 16 with 5 boxes is not exactly hard to kill. So a little bit of defense is nice. It's immobile, so can't has no movement or combat action. Can't become knocked down or be moved. It can be placed. Importantly, that's how it actually moves around, and it's automatically hit by melee attacks. If you hit it, yeah, it's dead. Uh,
Mhm.
but the big rule is it has cursed. It's the same rule that's on the Sea Raiders standard bearer. While within 5 inches of this model, enemy models suffer -1 arm.
Uh,
Uh, Great rule.
I kinda wish it had Prowl.
You know, I wouldn't hate to see Prowl on this thing. I do agree that it's a little bit of a beacon. And, spoiler alert, as we cover Veroni, you're going to notice that we haven't talked about a very important rule that a lot of armies feature to guard against ranged attacks. Shield
Mm.
guard. There is none. There hasn't, we haven't seen any of it yet. So this thing can and will get shot. Now, a 10-inch move, 5-inch curse, it has a 15-inch threat range. Obviously, we're not going to be leading from the front with this thing. We're going to plunk it forward to get just a little, just juice and arm swing a little bit. And then that's going to be it. or it's going to be a 2 point idiot that sits on your objective terrain in trench warfare and frustrates the crap out of your opponent because suddenly they're not scoring anything. Um, and that's a great, in my opinion, all of those great uses for it.
Hmm.
So our last revealed spoiler that we get to cover is Veroni, our character solo, who really should have been three crows in a trench coat. I'm sad he wasn't.
That's a good one.
All right, Sam, take us through Veroni.
All right, so Veroni. Let's see. He is a character. He's 4 points,
Mhm,
5 boxes. Get this: speed
mhm.
9,
Yeah.
mat 6, defense 14, which is pretty good. Arm 13, so it will protect him a little bit from that blast damage, and
Mhm.
he also has flight.
Yep.
But what else is protecting him from blast damage? Well, he's got this old special rule that you may know of called Ancient Shroud. Can you tell me?
Uh,
Can you tell me what that does?
yeah. So when a damage roll against this model exceeds its arm, it suffers one damage point instead of the total rolled. Mm.
Mm,
Mm.
that's
The good
crazy.
old Covenant of Menoth, good old Hermit. Oh god, I play these armies. I love this rule. I love seeing it. Ugh. No one else does though. Oh god, it sucks.
But this next rule is the rule that I've been watching everyone looking across all the discords and all the forums I can read, and it's been making them wonder, how are we going to get our ferals to those 5 trophies? It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah,
So
how are we gonna do that?
this rule is obviously called body snatcher. And what are we snatching? We're grave robbing. And the thing is, it's a 10-inch bubble.
Yeah.
So what is it doing? Let me read it to you.
Mhm.
Body snatcher, grave robber, 10 inches. This model can gain corpse tokens. When a living enemy model or undead is destroyed while within 10 inches of this model gains the destroyed model's corpse token. That is really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just the first paragraph there.
Yeah.
When a friendly living model is destroyed by a continuous effect, an enemy attack,
Yeah.
collateral damage from an enemy attack while within 10 inches of this model gains the destroyed model's corpse token.
Yep.
This model can add up to 5 corpse tokens.
Seems like a good number actually.
That is a good rule, and I
A
feel like
suspicious number, in fact.
you know how many times I have wished I had something similar when I was playing with my Devourer's Host?
Oh, yeah.
Just
Yeah,
thinking
it
about all my Ravagers and just, like, it's
oh, I know.
ridiculous.
In years past, the corpse economy for Devourer's Host for the Tharn was a lot better, and it's not there in Mark IV. I would love to see a Veroni-like character in Devourer's Host because really they need it to actually work.
So, Chris, tell me, what can you spend the corpse tokens on?
Not much. He can only spend them on Death Feast, which allows him to remove D3 damage points for each token spent. Now, not impressive on a 14, 13, 5 wounds, but Ancient Shroud, I hope your opponent killed him. The reason that the Covenant and the Hermit aren't absolutely head bashing for your opponent is that their defensive stats are charitably described as terrible. And it goes down from there. Hermit's an 11-11, and I think the Covenant is a 10-12 or 11-10. So I don't remember. It's been a year since I played him. So basically, unless you're a support unit, you're almost automatically hitting them. Veroni's a 14-13. He's
That is
not
pretty
so
good.
easy to hit. So you're gonna have to bring actual firepower to hit him, especially if this little jerk is shoved in cover or something like that. And yeah, he's gonna be a real pain in the ass to deal with. I love seeing it.
What else can you
Oh
do?
wait, there's more. He
There's
has so
more?
many rules. He has so many rules. Oh yeah, page 2.
Oh, wow.
So getting into his special rules, grave secrets. If he's in your leader's control range during control phase, your leader can spend corpse tokens to upkeep one spell for each token spent.
What?
It's not bad. I mean, free quote unquote upkeeps
Very
are pretty
resourceful.
good. It's awesome. I don't know that you're going to want to do this all that often for a reason we're about to get to. I am so happy to see that he gained a rule I've only seen in Grimkin, which is I found one. So he can range 3 special action. He targets a friendly faction model with a body snatcher special rule. Cough cough primeval. If that model's in range, does not have any corpse tokens, it gains 1. So he can start that. He can kickstart the free run charge thing without you even needing Lucky Penny. You can do both on the same
Mhm.
turn. It's amazing. Turn 2, you're looking at 2 primevals with a corpse token each, and not a single model has to have died. Excellent.
Correct.
He's Repo 5. He's a bird. He flies. Not too surprising. And then special delivery. This 3 ain't going to be spending too much on Grave Secrets, I don't think. Once per turn, he can remove any number of corpse tokens and place them on a friendly model that can gain corpse tokens within 5 inches of it. Just dumps that whole stack right onto a primeval. Suddenly, we're at 5, baby.
So, question.
Hmm.
If you look at special delivery, it's an
Yeah,
anytime activation, right?
correct.
But then we have an action for I found one. I found one is not taking away from the stack of Veroni, is it?
No, it's not. He generates a corpse token.
That's a
Comes
big
from
deal.
It comes from the ground, I guess. I don't know. He's pecking at something and found it, but it is not one of his corpse tokens. So if he's hanging on to like, I don't know, 3 or 4, you got a primeval that's sitting there lonely, doesn't have any trophies, feeling kind of sad for themselves. He can I found one to give it 1, and then dump his stack onto the primeval. And the cool thing is special delivery is any number of corpse tokens. So if you have 5 on him, sorry you've taken so many casualties, or plus side your opponent's taken a bunch, you don't have to give all 5 if the primeval can't take all 5. And that gives you some fuel for later, maybe for grave secrets, maybe for healing him up after your opponent frustratingly didn't kill him, or a future special delivery.
So, can I essentially, if I have 4 primevals in my battle group, can I just place 1 token on each primeval that turn?
Um, so it is you cannot do it that way. It is once
Gotcha.
per turn. He can remove any number of corpse tokens and place them on a friendly model. So you get to only pick one.
Keyword keyword singular A. Got it.
Yeah,
Just
singular. If it
basic
said place them
English.
on friendly models that can gain corpse tokens, yeah, he could just bubble that out and that would be amazing. But no, you're going to have to pick one. Now, by turn 2, before something has died, he can before anything really has joined, like the lines haven't really joined yet. It's bottom of 2 or top of 2, and we're jockeying for position. He himself can get 2 corpse tokens out to start those free charges up.
Mhm.
And
And,
only one primeval, maybe your geomancy one in the back, doesn't get one. And the other ones already can free charge.
okay. So, this is pretty interesting, but he sounds really good.
He's
Um,
amazing. He's in every list. I should say, this
One
dude's
last
point
question, though.
4. Yeah,
He's only point cost 4. So,
yeah.
does he have any way of generating those corpses by any chance? Does he have, like, a ranged weapon or something?
He's got melee attacks, and this is why I said he should be 3 birds in a trench coat. He's got 3 probing beaks. It's a range Nat 6, range 1, POW 11. This
Huh.
is not plan A.
Wait, what's his speed again?
He's speed 9. He can get
Speed 9.
places.
So, he's threatening what?
That would be a 13-inch threat range before any modifiers, yes.
That's pretty good for a PAL 11 going into an infantry.
For a solo for a support solo predominantly, he actually can hit. Not as well as most other things, but definitely better than a lot of support solos out there.
He's
So,
a
um,
he's a Mat 6. It's decent.
it, he's he is in every list. He's incredible.
Hmm.
And so thank you all for listening to that part of it. Yeah, that's all of the spoilers that we've received thus far. We covered down on everything. Maybe a couple of surprises in the weeks ahead. I know that I'm personally looking forward to a few things. So let's start off, or let's wrap this up with a couple of points of discussion. Sam, what do you think about the army as revealed?
I am excited.
Yeah.
Um, I would say, what have I been playing this games for a few years now, and I've been trying to discover what I really like in the game, army wise. And I feel like Umbre encompasses that feeling of utility and tools and options where I just want to have that in my army. And Umbre is giving that to me. On top of that, you have gorgeous models and you have great rules. I am 100% there. I can't wait to pre-order these bad boys to just play.
Me either. I think that they're amazing. I think this is a really good army. Um, I think I did realize that we forgot one character, War Beast, but we'll get to him after this.
Oh my god, how do
Like,
we
there's
forget it?
so many because there's so many good things in this army. Let's just say we saved the best for last. It's pretty good. Um, but there are so many good
Oh,
things in this army that it's just so easy. Like it's easy to forget even some of the other good things. Obviously, um, this army plays very fair. I like it from that standpoint. It is very fast. It's going to come at you. It's going to hit you very hard, but these threat ranges are knowable. Befuddle makes things weird. Geomancy Befuddle makes things like really weird. But you largely know, besides that, what's going to be happening on a turn-to-turn basis.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know
you
what
know the
threat
threat
ranges are.
ranges.
It's not Gravediggers where it's not Gravediggers where you have fuel caches that drop down from the sky that weren't on the board that could be on the board. They're Schrodinger's fuel cache. They technically don't exist and do at the same time. It's potential threat. We don't know. It depends on what the player does. That's as taxing for the opponent as it is for the Gravediggers player. Trust me, I'm not saying Gravediggers are overpowered. I'm simply saying that they have less visibly and visually obvious threat vectors that can really
Yes.
just surprise you unless you're experienced in that matchup. Old Umbrey is a simple question of asking how far can you charge? Because these numbers are knowable. Aside from Lesnoy with Befuddle, then yeah, stuff gets weird. It's weird. So before we get into our favorites, let's round this out with the character war beast that I was a silly person and totally forgot to mention.
I'm kind of ashamed I forgot about this as well because it has a very good animus
Yeah.
that I wish was not tied to the character.
Why don't you take us through the Strix?
So going through the Strix, as I said, it's a character. So you're only getting one. He is kind of expensive, but he's not. He's you if you're a War Beast player, if you're a Warlock player, you're accustomed to your War Beast kind of being on the higher end for coin cost. So he costs 15, but let's go through his stats, right? He's got 28 boxes. He has flight. He has is that eyeless sight or true sight?
That is Isla's sight.
It's eyeless sight, which is pretty big deal. Those clouds, I don't care. Which I've been talking about. I feel like there's just
Yeah,
more of it in the game right now. So
there
he's
is a bit of
also a
that.
speed 7, which is a big
Mhm.
deal. Mat 7. His defense is 14, arm 17, fury 4, and his threshold is 9. That's still pretty good. It's not quite a 10, but it's still pretty good. And
Pretty
on
good.
top of that, this might be your favorite rule in the game. I don't know. Probably not. However, it doesn't cost you anything. It's admonition. He just has it on
Yeah.
his card.
Yep.
Like like what? And then on top of that, he's a Mat 7, but he's got future sight. So,
Yeah.
most likely probably looking for 6s and 5s. Oh, I missed. Let me just boost that.
So you
Who
roll
doesn't
like
want
me
that?
and you can't hit that 5. Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Uh, Future sight is a rule that I hate seeing on Warjacks because you have to allocate resources in advance. And I love seeing on War Beasts. It's very powerful and something that can force.
Yes. I concur with that. But notably, if you go back to the weapons on this one, all our other heavies have been what, range 2 minimum on the primeval.
They've been range 2. Yep.
However, if you look at the Strix, they're all range 1.
Yeah.
So on the gore, it's a Mat 7, range 1, POW 16. But one thing you will notice about this beast, particularly that I noticed, he doesn't have any magical weapons.
No, he doesn't.
So you're you're gonna have to find a way to make that thing magical, right? But
Gosh.
it's got a brutal charge, so
Mhm.
it goes from POW 16 to POW 18, and he's got 3 initials total. He's got 2 talons, POW 15, and it has the, throw advantage, and it
Mhm.
has combo pitch. Who doesn't like combo pitch?
You know, it's weird. I don't know of really many models that have combo pitch as a rule. Crit pitch all day long. Pitch, yeah, I've seen that before. Combo pitch is interesting.
And why would you say that?
It's just the fact that it's that he actually has like a combo pitch with both of his he has to use both of his melee attacks for it. It's a special
Yes, it's a
attack, so
special attack.
but
Yep.
it's not a critical, which is really nice, and it's not just straight up pitch. It's just I guess I think that they were just trying to get around some weirdness with the fact that he has two talons, and so they didn't just give him straight pitch, even though you can
Mhm.
still only make one special attack and you have to sacrifice all of your
Right.
initials anyway.
But
I
again
thought it was interesting.
but again, for those who are very scenario minded, right? That is
Mhm.
a big deal. I'm gonna toss you, and you're probably gonna be able to reach contest that
Can
50
I give you
millimeter
something even
or
worse?
whatever.
Can I give you something worse?
Yeah.
I
I
char how about I'm flying and I charge behind you and combo pitch you into my lines?
Oh my god, that hurts. I would probably cry.
You could totally just eat a warjack or war beast right into your own lines and then dogpile them.
Yep.
Great.
But then on top of that, the Animus is probably one
Mhm.
of my favorite Animuses from Circle is Lightning Strike.
Yeah.
So you are definitely picking your poison here, right? Because if you
Mhm.
decide to toss something, you're probably out of range of other things. Maybe you're not going
Yep.
to get something to kill, so he's going to be out there.
Mhm.
So is that point worth it, or are you definitely killing something and trying to get him out of dodge? I mean,
Uh,
that's the beauty of having the utility of using different tools.
it is. And the fact that this dude is a speed 7 with rush in the faction, I'll remind you, with flying, that's a 9-inch move with lightning strike at the end of
Big,
activation.
that's a big deal.
That's a big move. He plays just kind of like a harrying bird. I mean, he's a giant owl, so that makes sense. I love this freaking model. I think he's cool as hell. He's just
It is gorgeous.
it's a beautiful model. Oh, totally. It reminds me of the scary owl from Secret of Nim. Thing terrified me as a child. Oh God. That movie was not appropriate for children. It was awesome. I loved it, but whew, some of those scenes were kind of dark. And the owl was one of them. He was very creepy, and all it's missing is the big glowing orange eye. It's got the small
Yeah.
one. Uh,
Yes.
he plays like a harrying bird that just pecks at your lines until you throw him in and he throws something back at you or further into your opponent's lines. Sets up assassination with a throw,
Mhm.
like a tanky throw. The fact that he's got rush and can threaten a combo pitch from 13 inches and he has flying so he can get around your base and get angles. Yeah, and then let's talk about Lycia with bait the line. Sure,
Yeah.
threat range of 15 on that. Why not?
Yep.
Yikes,
Yep.
he's cool.
It's
So,
beautiful.
all right, we're coming to the end. What is your favorite model that's been revealed thus far?
Man. I'm gonna say the feral.
Ah, nice.
I
Why?
just like well, one, the model's gorgeous. No matter what you put on it from what we've seen so far, it's just like it's just a fun model. But I think my favorite thing about that model is just the utility that it brings to the faction.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, I now I have to pick something else. Damn it. I was
Oh
gonna say the
no.
feral.
It's
So
okay. We can both concur.
the feral is my favorite, not just from a aesthetic standpoint. He's beautiful. I'm picking him up just to have this model. And I'm happy because Lycia is also in that box, and I'm getting that little fox in the
Hmm.
round. Um, I love cohort play. It is the thing that draws me to War Machine over most other tabletop systems. I like big stompy robots. I like big hulking beasts. I like them slamming into each other. The cohorts have more rules, varied rules, and a lot more techniques, ways you can kit them, and just more dynamic play than infantry to me. So I've always enjoyed playing cohort heavy. You look across all of the factions I play, every one of them plays cohort heavy. Some of them play a lot cohort heavy, Infernals. Um, but it's the reason I picked Sea Raiders as my first Mark IV army. I'm dabbling in Winter Corps right now. The first Boris list I put together has 5 Warjacks in it. I love cohorts. Pharaohs let me play cohort heavy. I
Yeah,
mentioned earlier I can take 3 overtake berserk idiots for 24 points. That's not a lot of
that is
points for how
so
much they
cheap.
can do. They are bargain town. They are total value. And I like the utility. I mean, Rush and Primal are great animuses. I don't know. You can fit them out in a couple of ways how you want them. Heck, even the spiny growth, even the Razorback spiny growth looking guy with a 13, 17 up to a 19 with spiny growth. Maybe there are some ways to boost defense in the faction as well. Get him behind cover, and suddenly he's a real big boy stat that you kind of just have to deal with. And he's cheap. You can make him like 7 or 8 points, was it? Like, it's not much
Yeah,
for.
-7.
Jeez. Yeah, it's so easy to actually just make him like something that you have to deal with that your opponent really doesn't want to deal with. I sing the praises of the Spectre and Dusk all the time. It's 10 points, it's expensive, but you have to commit so many damn resources to killing
Oh,
this
they're
thing.
so good with generator as
Oh,
well.
they don't kill anything, but who cares? They don't need to. They sit there and you have to throw 40 points of your army into killing this stupid idiot that just won't get off a point. And the feral with the with that arm buff with the quills feels exactly the same way. Uh I love the direction. So, all right, feral aside, if I had to pick one other one, I'm not picking Veroni because Veroni is just an obvious duh. He makes the army work.
I have a second
Um,
option as well.
I'm not gonna pick Lucia. I would pick the fox. You know what? I like I like Lesnoy. I'm not gonna lie. I look
He
forward.
cool.
I'm a protectorate player. I'm a blue. I was a blue black magic player, so you know I didn't have many friends.
Nope.
And so I like control and I like corpses. This faction has both of those. This is pretty cool. And Lesnoy is control. He's going to be hard to play. There's going to be a lot of times where you want to incite the world, and I'm going to feed, and I'm going to think that I'm safe, and I'm really not going to be, and I'm really going to die. But that's part of the fun of playing the game and learning. I think that he just has a wonderful toolbox, and he can threaten the field. And just Geomancy, Channel, Befuddle is so strong. You can pull things into weird ranges, get infantry charges, get war beasts in. Yeah, he's going to be awesome.
Nice. It
What's your
sounds like
follow
we
up?
have my second one, it would have to be the character, Chosen of the Witch.
Oh, nice. Beautiful models. My God.
Yes, and that's the major factor in there. It's just something about the amalgamation of having dawn, night, and just like the zenith. It just I don't know, from like that rule of cool perspective,
Yeah.
it just blows me away,
Elves are
especially with their
pretty good
rules.
too.
It also fits in their rules as well. So
Yeah,
I'm excited to paint them.
they look beautiful. They're going to be a very attractive unit to see on the board. All right. Well, that wraps us for right now. Thank you all very much for listening. It's been a pleasure getting to dig into Old Umbrey, talk about the rules. We're both really excited for what's coming up next. I can't wait to see the rest of this army spoiled. I hope that comes sooner rather than later because, man, I just can't wait to see these guys on the table. Um, this is a visually striking army that, as with everything that Steamforged has been doing and Privateer before them in Mark IV, it plays as well on the table as it looks. You can buy on the rule of cool, and you can trust and rest assured that you are still playing a competitive, viable, and good army.
Yes.
So, any parting thoughts, Sam?
Can we just get these months going by sooner?
Yes. Yeah, let's freeze ourselves for about 2 months so we can get to Old Umbrey coming out. Can't wait. All right. Well, thank you all very much for listening. This is Boost to Hit. Y'all take care, and we will talk to you later.
Good night, y'all.
Tony, you can cut the recording here.